Hi, third grade. We are back for the second part of lesson 14 problem set. These are the problems that you don't have to do, but you can for a little more practice and a little bit of a challenge. So we're going to go through and do the parts of number one that we didn't do before. And I'm going to change my color of ink so that you can see the difference. So number one is 143, and remember we are rounding to the nearest hundred. So 143, the 100 before that is 100. The 100 after 143 is 200. And 143 on the number line is less than 150. So since it's not even halfway between 100 and 200, we're going to round down to 100. Let's look at letter C, 320. The 100 before that is 300. The 100 after that is 400. The midpoint is 350. Whenever we're talking about hundreds, the midpoint is always 50. And 320 in our counting comes before 350, so we're going to write it right there. And 320 is about 300. Again, we round down to the nearest 100 because it's not at the midway point yet. Last, we have 1,250. Go ahead and see if you can label your vertical number line with the closest hundreds. You should have labeled 1,200, 1,300, and the midway point would be 1,250. And what do you notice? It's the same number that we are actually rounding. So 1,250 is the midpoint. So remember, anything at the midpoint or halfway and higher, we go up to the next 100. So 1,250 is about 1,300. Let's take a look at number two. Number two has a chart, and we're simply rounding the, following the directions. Looks like we're rounding to the nearest 100 in all of these, but the units might be changing. So Shauna has 480 stickers. Round the number of stickers to the nearest 100. Here's where you're going to be trying to not draw your vertical number lines. So you're going to say 480. You could say that comes between 400 and 500, and 480 is closer to 500. It's past the midway point. Letter B. There are 525 pages in a book. Round the number of pages to the nearest 100. So the 100 before that is 500. The 100 after is 600. When I think about my midpoint, 550, 525 is not at that point. So I'm going to round down to 500. Next. A container holds 750 milliliters of water. Round the capacity to the nearest 100 milliliters. So we're still rounding to the nearest 100. We just have a unit that goes with it. So 700 comes before 750. The next one would be 800. I think about my midpoint, which is 750, and what do you know? That's the number we're rounding. So we're going to round our capacity up to the next 100, and we're going to put our label. We could actually put units here as well. There's always a unit with math. It's just that sometimes with measurement, we don't do that when we're rounding. Glenn spends $1,297 on a new computer. Round the amount Glenn spends to the nearest $100. Well, it would be 1,200 is the lower 100. 1,300 is the higher one. When I think about my midpoint, it's 1,250. 1,297 is almost 1,300. So we're going to round up to $1,300. Letter E. The drive between two cities is 1,842 kilometers. Round the distance to the nearest 100 kilometers. So the 100 below would be 1,800. The 100 above would be 1,900. 1,842. That's less than my midpoint of 1,850. So we round down to 1,800 and our unit is kilometers. Outstanding, boys and girls. Good job, and you can submit this in the assignment if you did these problems as well.